Your turn, Yugi boy. What's up, guys? This is Linthio coming at you with a very different deck profile. Now, this is my Tribute Stun deck, the one that topped. It came top 4 in some regional somewhere, I think it was. And I just loved the idea of it. I'm surprised I never thought of it myself because I love these types of decks. And it's just so fun because, you know, if I'm a Herald player, I don't want my opponent to, you know, play. So this just makes sense for me to run this deck. So this is kind of like my take. It's very similar to the other one, the one that topped, because there's only a certain amount of stuff you can really put in. But there are some changes I made, a few little changes here and there. But we'll get straight into it because this is a dirty deck and I love dirty decks. So we play 3 of the Majesty's Fiend. This card is just brutal. Like, it's just so funny. Sorry for kicking the camera. It's just so funny because it stops your opponent from playing. It stops them from doing anything, really. And in this format where monster effects are so, you know, big, it just laughs at them. So this card is just super easy to get out and just super fun. We then play the 3 Christia. Christia is just a boss. It's absolutely amazing. You don't really need to special summon as much in this deck, so you can kind of control the field, and it's just really, really nice. So I really love playing this card. Then we have the 2 Vanities Ruler. I felt 3 was too cloggy because you have the Christias, and I know that it doesn't stop you special summoning, but I didn't like having 2. I didn't like having 3 because I just felt it was too much, and 2/5 isn't that big. I know it's huge when your opponent really doesn't have anything on the field. The only thing that can really consistently go over it is Bujans. But yeah, I really, really love this card, and it works really well. One of my techs is Mausoleum. Mausoleum is an incredible card, and it's going to be more incredible the next coming formats because it's just so good. It just stops your opponent from doing anything. And even if I do have Majesty's Fiend out, it doesn't return, so it'll just stay there and stop my opponent from kind of trying to kill me. And even if they get around the Majesty's Fiend, I still have Mausoleum here. So it's just really, really useful, really great card. The 1 Angel 07, I just don't want my opponent to have any monster effects, and it's a huge thing in the game, so Angel 07 makes my opponent cry. And then the 1 Vanities Ruler, just as a kind of the same as Majesty's Fiend, just get it on the board quick and stop my opponent from playing. So that's all the monsters. Going into the spells, we have 2 Mausoleum. This is kind of what the deck's based around. I only played 2 because 3 I found really, really cloggy and began to get inconsistent. So having a 2 Mausoleum is just a nice number, and I really do like this card. We then have 3 Pot of Duality. Increase the consistency in the deck. As I said, you don't really need to special summon that much, and it just really helps with the deck, to be honest. It just really helps with the speed. The 3 Photon Sanctuary, this is the MVP of the deck. It just enables you to do so many things. This with a Tribute is just so good because you can just do it first turn, and it just helps lock down your opponent, so it is really, really nice. For the protection, we have the 3 Forbidden Lance and the 3 Dress. The reason for playing these is just you want to keep your monster on board as much as possible and don't leave yourself susceptible to back row. So you have the Lance for any other back rows and the Dress for the hands as well, because if you don't have Majesty's Fiend out, for example, and you have, say, Christia, they can still pop you, but if you just dress it and away you go, they can't really do anything then because it can't even special summon itself, even if the hand stated you still could. 3 Upstart, again, consistency. Don't mind giving my opponent life points because it's a stun deck and I'm just grinding them down anyway, so it's just a nice card to increase the consistency of the deck. 2 Terraforming. Don't play 3 because obviously there's only 2 targets, and you might say 2 might be a bit much, but it's at least deck thinning at the very worst. 2 MSTs, just in case my opponent decides to flip something like Skill Drain or Light Imprison Mirror, anything like that. We don't want to see any of them against this deck. And finally the 1 Book of Moon, because Book of Moon is a great, great, great card. So then going on to the traps, we play the 3 Royal Decree. It's a stun deck, and we don't want my opponent to do any plays. So this with Majesty's Fiend is basically game, or a lot of my monsters, and this is basically game. So being able to play Royal Decree in here at 3 is very, very nice. Can get inconsistent a little bit at times. I don't want to see them in multiple copies, but you know, that's kind of the problem that you're always going to run into when playing multiple copies of something, but you do need it. 2 Save Zone, just because fuck you to my opponent. I just don't want to give them any way around my monsters. The 1 First Monarch, I'm really tempted to bump this up to 2 because I actually really like the card in this deck. I know that a lot of people don't really like the First Monarch, but it's proved to be very, very helpful in certain situations, and 2-4 isn't exactly a bad defense. So yeah, card's good. And then the final one is the 1 bottomless trap hole. Because if people try and do, I don't know, pendulums or anything like that, we don't want anything to happen. And bottomless is just one of the best traps currently, so it is just nice to have that extra added protection. So that is the deck profile. There is no extra deck because you just don't need it. There's no consistent way to go into monsters into the extra deck anyway. If you did want to put some things in, it would be to do with the side, so you can put your Cyber Dragons in and the Chimera tech. You can just put generic back row stopping stuff, but a lot of side stuff is already in here, like, because you cover a lot of aspects of decks, so it's just really nice to play with, and I would really recommend you, if you enjoy certain stun decks, or if you're just a fan of pissing your opponent off, I would recommend you pick this deck up. So I want to know what you guys think of the deck. Let me know down in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I should catch you guys later.